Bruce. You'll probably keep an eye on
I'm Chris Lord, I'm a banjo player of Paul Armour and the Dawn Chorus.
My name's Pete Thomas and I'm the bass player for Paul Armour and the Dawn Chorus.
Hello, my name's Noel Dashwood and I play the dobro in the Paul Armour and the Dawn Chorus Bluegrass Band.
My name's Paul and I'm the singer and guitarist and songwriter, I suppose. In Paul Armour and the Dawn Chorus. How long have I been playing bluegrass for? End of 2021, early 2022. I'd sort of been like dabbling with the odd G run since like maybe, I don't know, like a year or so before that, but it was really hard, so I wasn't getting fully committed.
I lived in a house with some musicians that were in a bluegrass band, and I wanted to get involved, and all the other instruments were taken up. So I sort of had an interest in slide guitar from seeing a guy called Xavier Rudd in Australia when I was out there years ago.
Oh, sorry, I was bringing my tea. This is great. You can keep this bit in.
Yeah, this would be nice. Yeah, sorry.
This is Chris. He brings my tea.
It's not as weak as it looks up.
Mate, it's perfect. Thank you. No, the bluegrass. That's a funny one. I've always been aware of the music, but it was 10 years ago. I was asked to play bass for a jam session in London, in Pimlico. It was actually by accident because they asked the wrong Pete Thomas. This is a true story. Yeah, they asked the wrong Pete Thomas. I turned up. And then I met Chris Lord, the banjo player, and then we've been playing music together ever since.
I was in this Gothic Americana band playing drums, and like used to put on like eyeliner and like tie my hair back and stuff, like when I had more hair to tie back. And we had a banjo player in that band, but he kind of stopped playing banjo pretty soon after I joined. But that was like my first exposure to banjo, and I think it maybe it planted a seed, I don't really know. But then several years later, Oh Brother Art Thou came out, and like that soundtrack is just, you know, it's so good.
Well, the notion that I've lost her is something I can't bear, but oftentimes I leave without a care. Caught between greener grasses just around the bend, and the love I found with her would never end.
I suppose with bluegrass, I see it as a bit more discipline, not to play too much. You want to keep it as solid and as simple as possible, really. That's how I approach it anyway.
In this particular project, I'm quite rhythmical on it, so I'm kind of doing a bit of a chop, like a. So not even playing any notes, you know. But then also it can come through and be quite vocal.
And I tend to think that you've got kind of two roles with the banjo, because it's a lead instrument, obviously. But I think like a big part of the banjo's role is a rhythmic one, because you've got that constant driving, like eighth notes all the time kind of thing, like while you're rolling.
Well, in all honesty, quite often I don't know what I'm looking for. You know, I've done the songwriting. I like that I've done that bit, but I like even more that I can bring this thing to these guys that I trust, and they can be like, oh, I think this works here. I'll do this here, and they can make it their own, you know.
She said, boy, I'll soon be leaving like you left me here before, but I won't come back, not gone.
I'm mostly like trying to just do what I've always done and just let the song come out organically, and then have the faith that like these guys are really good musicians and that they'll know what to do in service of the song.
Yeah, so I want to keep it as solid as possible, but weaving in and out with some lines like I might hear in my head and connect the chords up together.
Paul is a great singer-songwriter, so he has the solid skeleton of a song. It's more arranging, you know, sort of let's do this bit here, that bit there, and add a bit of colour between singing, and lots of harmony as well. So just sort of beefing up choruses.
But I'll hear one of his songs and I'll think, how would a banjo enhance this kind of thing? Like, what should a banjo be doing? And like a big part of it, I think, is trying not to be in the way as well. For a long time, I really wanted to sound like Ralph Stanley. you know, found out after years of trying that I don't sound like Ralph Stanley, and I can't sound like Ralph Stanley, but I think I've still got a lot of that influence.
Barry Bales, he's probably one of the top guys, isn't he? Mark Schatz and Edgar Meyer. Those three I listen to a lot. Yeah, I like them. Bass players. Nobody remembers a bass player. That's what it is.
Listening to like guys like Jason Isbell and Tyler Childers and stuff like that was where I was a few years ago. I got put onto a guy called Sturgill Simpson, who then released a bluegrass record, and then it sort of, the jump just made sense because it's still the same three chords and you can sing about lots of the same things, but then it's, you know, bluegrass has got this driving rhythm a lot of the time, which I just love.
Particularly in bluegrass, there's a couple of guys. Josh Graves really pioneered what dobros can do or should do in bluegrass music, and I listen to the older music quite a lot.
I might come up with an idea and then Paul hopefully will like it or not notice it.
The kind of uniqueness of the sound comes from the fact that we've got dobro and banjo as the two lead instruments.
In terms of frequencies, is quite similar to this. So me and the banjo player chat and say, right, I'm going to play here, so you don't play. And that's really become apparent and come out in the studio that we've just been in. That's why we're here.
The thing about this studio is Josh Clark is, he's been, I think he said yesterday, he's been in the game for about 25 years recording acoustic instruments and loads of bluegrass bands, so he's a wizard.
Yeah, I'm Josh Clark, and I'm here in my studio, which is in a lovely castle in the edge of Somerset in Gloucestershire, and I've been making records for 20 years or something like that. It depends per project, but there has become a bit of a house style with me, certainly, making bluegrass records in this country, where simply, I mean, budget constraints are what they are, and people need to make records quite fast. And so a way that a lot of people have found that works is to record all the instruments first and then record the vocals on top. And we're often working in a single room. With Paul sang his lead vocals with the band, which is brilliant because it means that everyone's listening to what he's singing and responding accordingly. I think the nice thing about this project is it sounds fairly classic in its in the way that the pieces have been arranged, and so there's plenty to draw on in terms of ideas for mixing.
Well, batten down the hatches, I've blown all my chances. There she goes, gone forevermore. Swell, batten down the hatches, I've blown all my chances. There she goes, gone forevermore.
You constantly have to push yourself, you constantly have to promote yourself. It's more fun to play music with people. There's this sense of camaraderie, and I'm no longer just doing this for me, like I'm doing it for the other lads too, and like we all bring our thing into the mix. We've all got our job to do, and we've got to do our job well, and it's just like it's just so much more enjoyable in every aspect of, like, I did it for my own for so long that it's just like I have to pinch myself sometimes that I'm like doing it with a band now. It's like I love it.